Is Rex Ryan set to join us?
Good to go.
Yes, okay. Sunday NFL Countdown premieres this weekend at 10 Eastern on the Mothership. Randy Moss, Teddy Bruschi, Adam Schefter, Sam Ponder, and Alex Smith is going to be joining the lineup. Rex Ryan will be there on Sunday mornings as well. And the former coach joins us on the program. Let me start with the question I've been asking all morning long. Who did you learn more about last night, the Lions or the Chiefs?
Oh, that's a good question, Dan. I think I know a lot about Detroit, so I wasn't surprised by their effort and the fact they won the game. Nobody wanted to play Detroit at the end of last year. They won 8-9. We all know that. But I think it was great to watch them in front of a national audience at a tough place to play against the best player in the world, Patrick Mahomes. So that was great, but I wasn't surprised by it. I think what we saw yesterday was how much Kansas City needs Travis Kelce, though. They really need Travis Kelce, and I think that's who they missed. Obviously, Chris Jones, a lot's going to be made about that. And, yeah, he's one of the best players in the league. But, no matter how good you are, you can't win without players. And I think we saw that yesterday, and not taking anything away from Detroit because they earned that game. I mean, hell, Detroit should have been up another score, in that game had they not turned the ball over. So, it was a great game, but we got to get, Kansas City has to get Travis Kelce back on the field, and hopefully Chris Jones follows.
What would you say in the moment to Cadarius Toney when he has these drops? And then does that change? Do you say anything to him today if you were his head coach or last night? What do you say in the moment?
Well, I think in a moment you can't lose the player, but in a way it's almost like this player has had so many opportunities before, an epic fail with the Giants when they had him. He's always been a talented guy, but at some point you got to put a foot in his butt and say, hey, you're either going to do it or you're not, and we don't have to play you. And I think that's I think he's reaching that point. But hell, he had 3 or 4 drops in that game. And it was, hey, some of the best players in the world are walking the street. Nobody cares. All right. And that could be him. You're either going to get it done. You're a receiver. You're paid to catch the football. And, but it's, this isn't Little League where you're like, hey, son, you get it back. You get it back. No, you're paid to catch the football. And that was an abysmal performance by him. Now, with that being said, the guy missed a ton of time in camp, with injury. So you can kind of dismiss it a little bit, but if it happens again, it's time to look for a different guy.
Mike Tirico late in the game said that this win would have an asterisk attached to it. Do you agree?
No, absolutely 100%. No way in hell do I agree with that. No way. It should have been an asterisk that guy was lined up in the backfield the whole game, the right tackle. That should have been the freaking asterisk. I mean, that was ridiculous. And by the way, look at the movement he gets. Well, that's called a false start. You should have called him for, he wasn't lined up. They never had enough players on the line of scrimmage. All right. And he's a false start every time. And the fact you got this Aiden Hutchinson, who, by the way, is an absolute beast.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. You're trying to get all the edge that you want. But lining up in the backfield, it just looks stupid. And you allowed it. That's something that might be an asterisk. There's no way the league's going to allow that to happen next week.
How did they let that happen, Rex? How does the head of officials not say to these guys at halftime, guys, you're making everybody look silly here?
Yeah, I have no idea. And I thought it was great. I think it was Terry McCauley that was in the booth. Yeah. And they protect each other well. But he finally just said, no, it's absolutely illegal. And good for him to do that. I thought that was great because most of those guys don't have the guts to say it. He absolutely, it was killing him. Being an outstanding official, it was killing him. And that's like, he's doing it for what? To gain a huge advantage. Yeah. And I thought it was interesting late in that game and almost in the entire from from the second half on, it seemed like they had to chip Hutchinson anyway. So they were chipping him and had the guy lined up in the backfield. So I disagree, and I love Mike Tirico, but I totally disagree with him. There's no asterisk here. Dude is part of it. The kid got hurt, and that's just the way it is. But you know what? Maybe this matchup will meet again one day. And that would be interesting to me if I could see it, because I believe in the Lions. I absolutely believe in the Lions, and it's not just the fact my son coaches there. I believe in them.
I think Juwan Taylor's asterisk was in the backfield. That's the asterisk that I have.
Great point. Absolutely.
We're talking to Rex Ryan.
Absolutely.
Are you on the Jets hype train?
No doubt. No doubt. And Dan, all I am is just basing it on 30 years coaching or whatever it is. This is the most talented defensive team the Jets have ever had. At least, certainly, it was way more talented than I had.
Yeah.
And we led the league in defense, always had some of the best defenses. We never had this kind of talent. They have 7 guys that can rush the passer. 7. We were lucky to get 2. They have 7 guys that can rush the passer. They're great on the back end. Sauce Gardner's an outstanding player. We get it, but so is Reed, the other corner. They got, the linebacking core can they're run hit guys, but they can cover. So I just think that this defense is absolutely loaded. Oh, and by the way, they have Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. No, this is it. And Garrett Wilson is uncoverable. So this is going to be, outstanding. And here's the other thing. Can we finally give Woody Johnson a little credit? I hate the fact everybody's quick to, Woody Johnson's the problem. Woody Johnson has never been the problem. Never been the problem with the New York Jets. All right. He sat back and said, you know what? I'm going to go for it. I'm going to give my coach every opportunity to win and to win it all. So what's he do? Whatever it takes, go get Aaron Rodgers. And that's what he did. And by the way, he just paid $7 million to a backup running back, Dalvin Cook. You don't think this guy wants to win and win right now? He's doing it for you, New York. And now it's time to collect on it a little bit. And, why in the heck would Aaron Rodgers play in the preseason? Because, Dan, he's been horrible the first week of the regular season the last couple of years. Horrible. I think it was against Minnesota, I believe. I know the Saints one year. They looked terrible. And so, you know what? Let's get that game out of the way. And they did. And it took guts, yes, but they got that game out of the way. He ought to be ready to roll. And, and by the way, we're going to find out week 1 against the Buffalo Bills. Yeah. I mean, an amazing football team right here with my favorite player in the National Football League, and Josh Allen. What a matchup this is going to be, a dream matchup. And we're fortunate as hell because we got it. Monday night ESPN has that game. So we are super stoked for it. But what an opportunity for the Jets. And the Jets, look, I love Buffalo. I love their owner, Terry Pagula. But this is the Jets moment, and I truly believe it.
Michael Irvin said yesterday that he could see Deion maybe coaching the Cowboys one day. What do you make of that?
Oh, that would be great. That would be fantastic. He just got to bring his son with him. If he goes. But, I spent some time when Deion took the job at Jackson State. I went there in the spring, and, his passion and love for his players and genuine love and concern for his players, I think, resonates, with those guys. And there's no BS to Deion. This is a guy, I was fortunate to coach him when he was 37 and 38 years old or something like that. But he was one of the greatest teammates I've ever seen. And that's just who Deion Sanders is. And if he chooses to go coach in the National Football League, so be it. That'd be great. Bring some great coaches with you or whatever. But he's a special, special guy. And it was huge to see that win. against TCU. Here's a team that went to the national championship. Everybody's making fun of what Deion did. No, Deion went to a team that had no players. And he said, we're at a Power 5 school, and this is the worst recruiting job by any coaching staff, maybe ever. And he's like, no, you got to earn the right to play for me. And he got rid of them, replaced 53 players or whatever it was. And yeah, it's not a traditional way of doing things. It's not the way he wants to do things. But it's what he had to do to be competitive. He's not going to bring himself and his sons over there to not have success. So he tried to put the best team that he possibly could do on the field, and that's why he did what he did.
Good to talk to you again, Rex. Have a great season, and our best to the NFL Countdown crew.
I appreciate it, Dan. Always a pleasure.
That's Rex Ryan. Had some interesting things to say. I didn't know that he had gone down to Jackson State when Deion was down there. And he'll be part of the Countdown crew coming up this weekend.